Hello everyone, welcome back to my Nicholas 10 channel. This is hopefully going to be a two-part short video. Now I've taken the big block Chevy tunnel ram and adapted and welded two angle pieces of iron together to make a bracket adapter for the small block Chevy intake for the angle bolt that goes to the head, so you can do your port match, port polishing, whatever you may need to do. Now the two holes and the slotted holes here, I used a step bit. That's all it took. Two longer bolts, coarse thread, intake bolts would work great to do this with. And two smaller bolts that I used to, if I can get this to catch it. As you can see, two bolts there that bolt to the tunnel ram bracket or jig. To use this on that bracket or jig for the small block intake or tunnel ram. And you can position it about any position you want. I got it up a little higher right now, but all you gotta do is loosen up the bolts in the back and turn them. Put them in the bottom of the main bracket. They're slotted, angled. To put them down there for a lower use or a higher use. And of course, it works the same way with the small block intake as it does the big block intake or tunnel ram. And it does help a lot when the engine stand part of the bracket has multiple holes all the way around it for your adjustment. Now I want to give you some update information on MIG welding. When your welds start getting choppy, splattery, too much spatter, use the flux core MIG weld splatter paste. It helps out greatly. How about it's focused, as you can tell, but it's only for the bracket for an intake. That's all I'd use that for, so it will support. Make your adjustments on your MIG welder. If that doesn't work and it still does this, here's what more likely your problem is. This is not the world's greatest ground cable connector, by far. It's all too easy to move. And the ground for this is just not good. If you're going to do any major welding or heavy duty to mild welding, you really need a super great ground. So one of the swap meets I was at, I bought stick weld, arc weld welding cable, just so happened to have the end on it. I just bought it for a battery cable, double aught wire, it's braided wire, but this is the cable for the ground for a stick arc weld. That's a doozy. I modified it to fit the cable coming off of my Harbor Freight MIG welder. Welder works fantastic. Works actually better now with this better ground to it. Yep. As you can tell, okay, it takes everything I've got to open this thing and to get it back on. Makes a super great ground, and the main part's brass, or bronze, I should say bronze. And where it reads this side up. As you're welding, make sure this side is up to where you're welding, as close to the weld as you can get it. As you can see, comparing, it don't take nothing to do it at all. The stronger, the better the ground, the better the weld. That's the first thing I would do with a MIG weld, stick weld, or a plasma cutter, which I just recently bought a plasma cutter, is change that ground. It isn't going to hurt a thing. It's only going to do is improve it, as you can tell. Now, over here is my new plasma cutter. I've changed the ground. I'm going to show you what that is here in just a second. Here is the new plasma cutter ground. Much better ground by far. Trust me. It's a 3-inch C-clamp. It was a Craftsman. I modified it to work this and to do it, make it work. This end you don't change. It screws plugs into the plasma cutter. This end's great. Do not bother this. Only the ground to where the cable clamp is at. A clamp just like this came off my plasma cutter. I've got a much better ground now. Even though it's not bronze or brass, it's going to work a lot better, even though it's got copper connections. This C-clamp gives me much better ground, and it'll work at different angles that I need it to. What I've done, I took my hand grinder, ground it down enough to where I could drill a hole, whatever size bolt's going to work without grinding this part here, the end of the C-clamp, too narrow or thin to where it's not going to hold. You drill all the way through it and get a bolt that's going to work for you. Don't have to be a hardened bolt, but average, common, everyday bolt will work. I used a coarse thread one. Ran the bottom of the bolt. After I tapped it, whatever thread size, what you do is take the nut for the bolt, and the drill bit you need is just at the size of the threads of the nut. Then you take that drill bit, center punch what you're going to drill it through, and then drill through it. I took it two-step, not the drill bit, but 2 different drill bits to make the hole in my C-clamp. Then when you tap through it, a little bit of oil, run it on through gently. You get in a jam, break that tap, you're in trouble. Period. Drill it through, tap it, run the bolt in it, and you've got it. Now the flexible pivot point on the threaded rod of this, I took off and cut 1/4-inch steel piece, rounded it off. It doesn't have to be perfectly centered. It wasn't easy. And tack welded on. Now, you see there's a shorter cable running from here to here. Same size. I drilled a hole through here. The same 2 bits here I used here. Tacked the nut on. I didn't need to worry about threading the hole for the bolt. Used the nut, and here it is. I got to ground any direction that I need it, and up to 3-inch. And keep your ground as close to your cutting as you can. I haven't even untied this thing yet. I've got to run electric to it. But I've used it before like this, and it always works a lot better. Can't have too good a ground. Even though it takes aluminum, I'm using this as an example, and a torch from a MIG welder as an example of my plasma cutter. Anywhere within, say, 6 inches. As you can tell, it's going to work out real good. Now, if I need to modify this any at all, what I will do is right here, where I've stepped down some, I'll grind this down level to where the cables are at. There's your better picture of the step down. I need to move, adjust the cables. I'll just grind that little lip there down, even with the cable, bottom one, and I can position the cable in the direction, angle that I need, just to keep it away from being damaged. And of course, your flux core arc weld gauge will tell you what you need to do for the welding part. for most of my light welding, minimum and 1, or minimum and 2. It all depends. 3 generally works really good for the wire feed, or speed I should say. Sorry about that. But yeah, this is one great welder, MIG welder, flux core welder for me. Harbor Freight. And I bought this plasma cutter off of eBay, brand new. There's the name of it. And it's super light, lighter than I thought it would be. And there's the information on this. It's a cut 40. And last but not least, I've been modifying all of my engine stands from a 3-wheel to a 4-wheel. This is in process. And by the way, my MIG welder, my plasma cutter, all is 220 wiring. So hope you enjoyed this, hope you liked it, hope it helps you out a lot. Please like and subscribe. Pass all the information on to your friends. Hope they subscribe and like it. And as always, be safe, have fun, enjoy what you're doing. So thanks once again on this rainy day in the new year of 2020, and have a great one. Stay tuned for more videos as soon as I can get them made. Be safe, have a great one. Maniacal S10 channel says thanks. Please like and subscribe. Bye everyone. And thanks again for all of my friends and subscribers. Appreciate it. Bye.